Hello, I'm Tom Palmer, a children's author, and I'm talking to you probably during the half-time break in the Scotland versus Czech Republic game taking place on the 14th of June 2021 at Euro 2020. I write books about football, and I've been asked just to do a little 5-minute chat for you about me and my books, me and the stuff I write. But to be honest, this is what I write, football-y stuff like that, and I also do history stuff like that as well. But to be honest, I think it's more important I talk about reading, because although I write books now and I've written 53 books, reading was a struggle for me. It took me, I didn't get published till I was 40 as a writer. I didn't really start reading as a hobby until I was about 17, 18. I struggled. If you'd have given me like a book of any length, it could be thin books, it could be thick books, I would have struggled with them just because I knew I wouldn't have been able to get through those books. And so my mum, knowing that I was struggling with reading, but also knowing I loved football, she decided she was going to get me reading using what I loved, which was football, but not getting me to read books. So she started me off with, with newspapers. So my mum started me off reading about football in newspapers, short articles. I mean, I wouldn't always finish them. I'd tried to read as much as I could, but short articles to do with football in newspapers. Then I started to read magazines as well. So, for instance, World Soccer Magazine, that's about football all around the world. There's also 442 Magazine now. There's, what's this one? Match of the Day, that's the best-selling one in the UK. There's lots of magazines about football, and there's stuff like Panini albums and all that kind of like, that's what encouraged me to read just short stuff that wasn't a big chunky book that would scare the living daylights out of me, because I would have just known it was too big and too thick. But gradually I got more into reading. I got more confident and started to build up my stamina and started to read longer things. I started to read books, thin books, medium length books, and gradually over the years, and it did take years, I started to read thick books like that. And I mean, I think reading is about reading what you want to read. It doesn't have to be a book. It could be a magazine, a website, a newspaper. And if you are going to read a thick book, the only way I'm going to get through a thick book is if it's about something I really want to know about. So for me, that is my football team, and I read about what I love, and in various forms. And I think that's a really important thing, because if you're given a book you don't want to read, it's going to be a massive struggle, isn't it? But even if you struggle as a reader, if you're given a book that's about a subject you're really interested in, you've got a chance of getting through it. But the beauty of it is, if you go to the library and borrow a book, you don't have to finish it. So like, let's say you go to the library and borrow this. If you get 20 pages in and think this is a bit boring, give up and read another book. You don't have to finish a book. It's not your fault you're not enjoying my book. It's my fault for not entertaining you. And I think things like that are really important, that we should be allowed to read what we want to read. We should be allowed to give up on reading stuff. And that's my sort of that's my reading message. I'm supposed to talk about being a writer as well, but what I really want to do is I want to talk about Liam Cooper, and I hope he's playing. I hope you're watching him now. He's because I'm a Leeds fan. He's one of 6 Leeds players who are playing in the Euros, and I was thinking to myself, what would I do if like England were playing Scotland, which we are obviously in a few days, and it was like 2-2, and it went into injury time at the end of the second half. And you got a corner, like Scotland got a corner, and Liam Cooper leaps up and heads it into the back of the net. How am I going to feel? And I'm quite torn, really, because although I want England to win, being English, I'm kind of really attached to the 6 Leeds players who are playing there. So it's a bit of a dilemma. I don't know if you have that sort of a dilemma, but I do. Anyway, I'm waffling anyway. So I've nearly done 5 minutes. What else should I talk about? Oh, they asked me to read something out loud to you. So I'm going to read you to the my most recent book. There's a bit set in Scotland, so this and when I was right, it's about the Navy in the Second World War, who often left from Scottish lochs and estuaries to head off to fight in the Second World War. And I went up to Loch Ewe, which is near Ullapool, right on the northwest corner of Scotland. And I did a bit of research, and this is what I wrote based on that. And then I'll let you get back to the football. Anyway, chapter 18, Loch Ewe, December 1943. 3 cruisers steamed out of Loch Ewe in the north of Scotland at 1300 hours on the 12th of December 1943, 2 weeks before Christmas. HMS Sheffield, HMS Norfolk, HMS Belfast. Their mission to meet up with the Arctic convoys in the high Arctic and to escort them through U-boat infested waters. Frank and Stephen stood on the starboard side of HMS Belfast as they slipped out into the Minch, the body of water that lay between the Scottish mainland and the Western Isles. From the high deck, they saw low, barren hills in shades of grey and brown, obscured much of the time by swirling mist. Scotland slid out of view as the seas built around them and the fog thickened. Then they turned their backs on the nothingness and admired their new ship. So that's my little tribute to the northwest of Scotland. Anyway, go and enjoy the second half. I'll be watching at home, and I'll be starting to worry about the England-Scotland game as I'm watching you destroy the Czech Republic. But good luck, and I hope you have. I think your summer holidays are coming up pretty soon. So whatever happens, I hope the Euros go well for you, and I hope you have a really good summer holidays because you deserve it after the last year or so. Thanks for listening to me rambling on, and now get back to the football. Cheers.